Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nullified Take channel here on YouTube, where we've got the TNT takes for you on Traitors Canada. Except, Hamish, there's a slight twist. This isn't any ordinary Traitors Canada recap. It is the Mucky Takes recap. That's right, it's your host, Mucky, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. You all know him as one of my best mates, Noodle Muncher, Sexy Viking. What more titles can we add to this bloke? It is the great Hamish. Hamish, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It feels good to be, getting back properly into the season. Once again, I'm in a new location. I'm actually not. I'm just in the lounge that I'm usually in, not my laundry this time. Except it's way too backlit at the moment because of where the sun is. So we've just rotated.
Yeah, I've
But it
been
looks
quite.
like I'm in a new room.
I'm not gonna lie, Hamish. I know you're a winter person like myself. I've been very disappointed with how hot it's been recently in the sun. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was talking to my bandmates last night at rehearsal, and I was saying like I'm just mad. Like it's like I hate summer and stuff. And then so two of the guys, the drummer, because playing drums is quite like it's quite a hot thing, and then also the bassist. Like sometimes, like actually quite often, they take off their shirts while we're rehearsing,
Oh,
and then the two guitarists and I never do. And then for the first time ever with these guys, I was like, screw it, like had to get a little funky there. It's getting
mm.
so hot, bro.
It's getting so hot because you're there. You're
Yeah, no,
creating,
yeah,
like
exactly.
the atmosphere and everything. It's radiation.
Yeah, that's why they take their shirts off.
Yeah, exactly. But just before we do actually get into Traders Canada, I think everyone is wondering, how is Sammy the Slug?
How is Sammy the Slug? So, um, right after we ended the episode, I went up to the slug and I basically I wrote like the alphabet and some numbers, almost like in a Ouija board style, but
Mm.
out on a piece of paper. And I left it there, and I came back the next morning, and you could see he'd like slithered over, and you could see the track marks. And so
Mhm.
basically, um, it was like a tracking detail. So I typed that into the internet. And you can see live like what Sammy the Slug is up to. Bro, he's reached the Vatican. And so, anyway, to my understanding, Sammy the Slug is going to meet the Pope, and then after that, he's going to continue up north. But Sammy the Slug seems to be doing great. He's on some kind of conquest. I don't know why, but yeah, Sammy the Slug, bro, is meeting the Pope.
Yeah, it's something that's been happening in a lot of fictional shows I've been seeing is that a great power comes out of nowhere. It was sort of in the Ahsoka series where a Imperial officer, which if you want to hear more about that, watch our Ahsoka podcast, which should be dropped pretty soon. And like some other shows I've been watching, it's like there's a great power that was in exile, but it's now come back. Is Sammy the Slug gonna
That power.
reach that power?
Sammy the Slug is that power.
Sammy the Slug is gonna outdo the King of England, right?
Sammy the Slug is going to find, like, if anyone's watched The Last Kingdom, and if you haven't, Michael, I suggest you do because it's just such a good show. Um, but basically, throughout all the seasons, the king, up until he passes away and then his sons take over, he's trying to unite all of the Saxons to make one England. And there's actually a really good like song as a part of the soundtrack called My England. But anyway, um, and he's trying to do that, and he's trying to make what we now know today as England. But Sammy the Slug's basically doing that with the world, where it's like it's not like New Zealand and Australia and Canada, etc. It's just the world, and so he's the king of the world. He's going to unite us, and then we together will expand to basically he's doing what Elon Musk is doing with Mars, just better.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm having to pledge my allegiance to Sammy the Slug.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
He's a real like people's leader.
Yeah. But let's actually talk about some traders for one time, Mish. I know we can spend the
Nah, I
whole
don't.
whole
Why
hour.
would we do that, bro?
Yeah. I know we're going to easily talk a whole hour about Sammy the Slug, but anyways, let's talk about Traitors Canada episode 2. We start off with the episode with the breakfast, and obviously we're both massive fans of Traitors New Zealand, but I will admit the breakfast in Traitors Canada looked 10 times better than what the breakfast was in Traitors New Zealand. What's your thoughts on the breakfast?
I like because like when we're watching it all the time, I don't make the jokes out loud because I don't, you know, a lot of the jokes aren't actually that funny, but I'm always joking like in my head with myself about the host being French Canadian. Like at the
Mm.
beginning when we were watching it before, when she's like last time on Traitors Canada, and in my head I was like, last time on Traitors Canada, I was French. Anyway, so when I think it was Mel when she was just like, oh, like this breakfast is so good, and then you see shots of the food, and the first thing is croissants.
Yeah, I saw that
But
too. I saw
when
that
I saw
too.
that, I was just like, yeah, bro, mean.
Yeah, I saw that too. And I almost started cracking up laughing. There were quite a few times I did burst out laughing during this episode, but yeah, unfortunately, everyone's coming in, one by one, and we see Melissa, the Traitors Melissa. There's actually two Melissas on this cast, Hamish, but the
Not being
Traitors
mellow.
Melissa, yeah. So Melissa B, she comes in and she knows that she's got a bit of a target on her back. Some people are really bit, wary of her. So she's starting to just talk a lot more and just try to be very active and who's here, who's not here, who's here, who's not here, trying to figure out like who's gonna get potentially eliminated. But I think it was the other Melissa had pointed out that like she's very clearly
I think it was
she's
Crystal
so
who said
outside.
that. No,
Wait, let me
that
have a look.
that are you talking about on
Yes,
this episode? Yeah,
yeah, it was Crystal. Sorry, my bad. I got them both mixed up. Yes, it was Crystal
yeah,
pointed
Michael. What
out.
the heck are you doing?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I've just got names
You're
written
fired.
everywhere. Yeah, I'm a terrible host. but yeah, Crystal, pointed out that Melissa is acting even more suspicious because she's
Mm.
so active in trying to find who's been eliminated. What's your thoughts on Melissa's strategy?
I think she's just really stressed, and so she just overdoes it. It's like you know
Yeah,
how when we were watching the New Zealand traders and we were covering that and we were talking about in the voting when the banishment whatever when Matt was voted off and when we were talking about how he tried to explain like, oh, I come here like I'm stressed, I got a workload, blah blah blah. And I was saying like, you know how he like over explained it, which is very typical of somebody lying. I feel
yeah,
like that's exactly what Mel's doing. Like she's over everything she's trying to do to seem faithful, she's doing it so
mm,
much to the point that it's like unnatural. It's like if you did it a little bit, like very subtly, it's like that's just what a faithful would be doing. But when you're
yeah,
like trying so hard, it's just like, bro, like you don't look like you're a faithful. You look like you're trying to act like a faithful.
yeah. That's such a good point. Like how far can you go trying to prove something, right? Because we see often that even some of the faithful, they're trying so hard to prove that they're faithful. Something that happened in Trace Australia, for example, is Luke. He's one of the great survivor players of all time. He was a faithful, and he was heavily defending someone. And one of the greatest points he had was, "Why would I go so far out of my way to protect this one person when because if I was a trader, why would I bring all that heat and attention to me?"
Mm.
And I think that's actually like a great point to make, which something we'll talk about, for the banishment is why would someone who brings so much heat, like a self destruction to their game, or so much attention,
But that's such a
why
line
would
you
that
could
be a
use though.
trader?
You could be a traitor and accidentally mess up. Like for example, Mel, right? Like she's overdoing it and so she looks like a traitor, right? And then she could be like, well, if I was a traitor, like why would I make it look like I'm a traitor? You know what I mean? Like you could always use that as a line. Like
Yeah,
why would I say that I think it's this person when it's going to mess up my game if I was a traitor? And like I feel like as soon as you use the reverse psychology, then nah, bro. Like
Yeah, yeah,
anyone can
it's
say that. Like it
yeah,
makes
no,
sense, but it
true,
also like it can make sense for anyone to say it.
true. And to be fair, one of the traders, I know you haven't seen it yet, Hamish, but I definitely want to show you the season because it is wild. One of the traders was kind of playing like a similar strategy, like everyone's saying it's me, everyone's saying it's me, and that's why it's not me. Because this is what the traders want. And so
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
anyways, it was quite funny because when Fierce walked in, I'm not sure about you, Hamish, but I didn't recognize them without their long blonde hair. I was thinking, wait, is there another person on this cast? But no, it was Fierce.
Was their hair blonde? I thought it was like silver. I'm so colorblind.
Silver blonde. Even I
Whatever.
don't know now. Oh my gosh. But
Nah,
but
nah, but
yeah.
like I recognized it was Fierce straight away because like it's the only person I didn't recognize. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then but then also like y- their voice is just kind of like distinguishable. But yeah, they
Yeah.
definitely look different without the makeup and the hair.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I was kind
Not
of
that it matters.
convinced. I was convinced that Fierce was eliminated. I don't know
Me too.
why. I
Yeah.
just thought Fierce definitely eliminated because you have Kevin, who's got a massive target on his back. You've got Erica, the Survivor winner, and plus they kind of formed a three with Kuzi in the first episode. So I thought, okay, Kuzi's gonna try and protect those two. But
Mm.
then it comes down to Kevin and Erica.
When Fierce walked in, I was like, "Oh, Kevin's gone."
Yeah.
But
Wow. Yawning on the podcast, Hamish. How could you?
sorry, I'm just I actually can't think of anything funny to say in response to that.
But yeah. Um, what was I going to say? What is your thoughts on Erica being eliminated?
I think that, you know, the show will move on and she will move on because she's just gonna go home and take comfort in her 1 million traders survivor dollars.
Yeah. I obviously you haven't seen, American Survivor. So I was a bit sad to see Erica go because I feel like with the season she was on, a lot of people looked down on that season, mostly because of how things were edited specifically. And she herself, while she was the winner of that season, she was kind of like, massively under edited, especially during the pre-merge. And so I think with Erica going, so like with Erica being on the show, I was quite excited to see what she could not necessarily prove. She doesn't have to prove anything. She's got $1 million from Survivor, right? But I think as a fan, I would have loved to see more for strategy in her social game, kind of similar to
See,
how
Michael, this is exactly why you don't watch American Survivor because now I wasn't let down by it.
because there was a player. Her name is Michelle. She won season 32 co-wrong, but everyone believes. Well, not everyone. It's one of the biggest Survivor debates that Aubrey, who was the runner-up, deserved to win over Michelle. So when she came back and winners at war, she was like, you know what? I have to prove that I deserve my win and I'm a great player. And yeah, she played a great game. She was a massive underdog pretty much the whole way through. And I was hoping for a similar story to Erica, where maybe, she could have been like, you know what, people look down on my win, but I deserve to win, and here's why. Same goes with Chris Underwood on the challenge at the moment. He's a guy, I think I told you about him, where he got voted out very early, but then he came back and only played like 6 to 8 days of Survivor and won out of 39. And a lot of people look down on his win, but he's back in the challenge now, and yeah, he's doing really well. So yeah, really disappointed for Erica, but I'm glad we got to see her again on another reality show, and I hope we get to see her come back. What was your
Yeah.
thoughts on Erica overall?
I told you earlier that when we were watching it, like I probably wouldn't actually have made the joke because I can think before I speak, but like I would have had the desire when we found out that Erica was the one who was eliminated to be like, shame, bro. But that would
Yeah,
be like such a like people would think you're a traitor.
yeah,
Um, I don't know, bro. Like I haven't really got attached to any of the contestants yet, so I don't really, doesn't really sway me. If anyone was eliminated or even banished for that matter at this point, I'm just kind of like, okay,
Hmm.
we're definitely getting to the point that it's starting to heat up a little bit more. But like at the beginning of this episode, before a lot of the dramas happened with Colin and Donna,
Donna.
like I was thinking that like, Rick seemed kind of cool, but then by the end of the episode, I was just like, Rick is he's so dumb, bro. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, no, he's not dumb. That's not fair. But like, he's very like in on the drama, and I'm like, that's just not very me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I haven't found my Dan/Julia yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you may not have found your Dan/Julia yet, but we do get some pretty chaotic gameplay from a lot of the contestants, and we'll start off with Colin. Obviously, Colin was banished at the end of the episode, and it starts off with Colin saying, "If you," I think he said it in a car actually. If you feel like voting for me, well, vote for me. You'll just find out that I'm a faithful. And obviously
Don't
we've
say
got to
it, Jay. Don't say it.
obviously we're going to talk about smartest move of the week, but it just happened to be ironic that in the second episode or the second week of Traders New Zealand, your girl Julia said
Nah,
something
but see,
very
here's the
similar.
thing, though. Here's the thing. When Julia did it, it was smart because she didn't get voted off. When Colin did it, he tried to pull a Julia and he failed.
Yeah, well, not just a Julia, he tried to pull an Anna as well by saying, "I swear on my kid's life
And well, he
that
said, "I swear on my children," but yeah,
children's
um,
lives." Yeah,
but he failed that as well. So
yeah, it's it's kind of a desperate move to make when you think about it, like so early on in the game. Like at least when Anna had said it, I'm pretty sure it was near like Sadanbu or something like that. It's something that was already pretty late into the game where she's already built a reputation for herself. Like everyone obviously sees her as a faithful, so her saying that sort of makes her even more faithful.
what would you swear on?
Oh, to be fair, like if it's a game, I always see things as a game, right? So what happens in the game stays in the game. Like outside of life, who really cares? But oh, I don't know because I've got so many things I can definitely swear on that make sense to me and like the bros, like you and some of my close friends. But everyone would just be like, "What?" Like I'd be like,
Nah,
"I
bro, it
swear
doesn't matter what
on."
other people think. Like, what are you swearing on?
All right, okay. So if I was to prove my innocence, right,
Hmm.
as a faithful, I would swear on my belief of Bigfoot, which to those
Okay.
that don't know, hey, it's Traitors Canada. There could be a Sasquatch out there. Um, I strongly believe in Bigfoot. I would swear on Puhoi Valleys, which for those who may not know, but I am a massive chocolate milk addict. People are addicted to gambling, smoking, alcohol, so many
This is a
things.
PG-13 podcast.
It's a
Just
PG-13 podcast, and
moving
to make
on
it even more
from substance
PG-13,
abuse.
I love chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk so much, and my favorite, I guess, brand is Puhoi Valley chocolate. I did an estimate actually on Monday on how much money I spend on Puhoi Valleys each week, and it came to about $45 to $50,
Bro, think about how
and
much
not a
money you could
single.
save.
But not a single cent was wasted, all right? Not a single cent was wasted. I drank and enjoyed every single drop.
Fair enough. So
Yeah.
those are the two things you'd swear on?
I feel like those are probably the only things that really matter to me. That
Yep.
really matter to me personally. So if you hear me swearing on that, it's like, okay, this guy's being serious. But like, if I was to swear on anything else, yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
no
Well,
effect. Yeah.
I got three things I would
All
swear on.
right.
So the first one is family blackberries. In particular, eating them out of a can. Sponsor me, please.
We're both just doing like sponsorships for our favorite products or what
The
we'd swear
second
on.
thing I would swear on is the existence of the Lydian mode. I fucked it, mess it up. I love it. I just the sharp four. It just makes me happy every time. And the third thing, the most important thing I would swear on is Personal Ultimate. Get Personal
No,
Ultimate to
no,
clean your
no! You stop that right now. Okay, so
code.
all right, I'm sorry. I know we're meant to be talking about trailers, but we've got to address this. All right, so because Hamish and I, we watched episodes together, right? And while we're watching it, I can't say how we're watching it, but basically there was this one ad that kept popping up. It was Personal Ultimate. Sometimes it'll be like 3 ads in a row, and it was the exact same ad that kept playing over and over again. I'm pretty sure like there's only 2 different ads that played the whole time I watched an episode, and one of them was Personal, and I don't even know the other one simply just because Personal played so many
No, I'm
times,
pretty sure
and
today it was for this episode it was just Purcell.
it was
And
just Personal.
yeah. We had two different ads last time, and then so at the beginning you'd just be like, "Oh, this again," and I wouldn't say anything. I was just thinking like, I'm just internalizing the wow, that's a lot of ads. And after a while, when we both got vocal, we went in the opposite directions. You were like, I'm so done with this ad," and I got
I
to the point where I was
was.
like, "Yes, Purcell Ultimate."
Normally, I always see the joking things, and I love it. But oh my gosh, I was so sick of this ad. I was so
I
sick of it. I don't
swear
know.
on Purcell Ultimate.
Well, look at us. We're literally giving so many sponsorships, and no one's even paying us to give the
Can
sponsorships.
everyone who's ever used the Lydian mode in a song please give me a sponsorship?
Okay.
Okay,
Anyways,
moving on.
let's move on before any sort of random sponsorship things does start happening. So we do see a bit of strategy here from is his name Rich? Rick. For some reason, I
Right.
thought it was Rich. Yeah, from Rick, where he pointed out that Colin said in the previous episode that he doesn't want any of the reality stars to win. So they'll be your Big Brother players, your Survivor players. Mickey, he's from The Amazing Race, and simply just because he wants someone who's, I guess, a bit more normal to take out the win to get the money, because the money would have like a huge impact on them. And this is an argument that I actually haven't seen. Like, I've seen it talked about in the fan base, but I've never actually seen it make it onto the show. The whole idea of who really deserves the money, right? Because there's always a mixture of people from different economic statuses in life. What's your thoughts on this argument that Colin was trying to make?
Um, Brov's got an opinion.
Yeah,
uh, I don't not want people with money to win it, but I think that it's nice if people who don't have the money to begin with get it. Like it's maybe more heartwarming, but if somebody who doesn't really need it got it, I wouldn't be like, "Oh man, like they didn't deserve it. I'm so angry. I'm gonna go type up a blog about why this person didn't
Hmm.
deserve the money." Like, bro, just
Yeah.
you have an opinion. Good for you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt the same way, because when it comes to these games, I personally the money is great, right? It really is, and it can be life changing. But I always see it as
Not about that.
or it's not about that. It's all
It's
about
about
like
the game.
who, yeah, it's about the game. Who played genuinely like the best game? Who got there, right? Because if you bring stuff from out of life and everything like that, so many like the game will be impacted in so many different ways, and we've seen American Survivor even be impacted that way as well, for good and for bad. And so I think that where was I going with this? Yeah, I think like just only have your sole focus on the game, and like who genuinely does deserve the title is like the winner or
Yeah,
something of the
because
game.
it's like you deserve the money because you're not somebody with heaps of money, but like I would vote for you at every banishment. So it's
Yeah,
like, what should you win just because you deserve it? Heck no. I'm banishing you, Michael.
I'd banish you too. You know.
Nah,
Noodle
but I would
Monkey
get
or the
people
Noodles
against you.
Awful.
You can write my name on
Yeah.
the slate, but like I'm banishing you.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll have to put it to the test. Traitors, Blood versus Water. Put Hamish and I on so we can just. Blood versus Water
Okay.
is like a family season, by the way.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're not family though.
We could pass off as family if I just grow a beard out.
I would just tell people we're not. I'd be like, oh, sorry, like don't put me on the same as this guy. I'm not.
Yeah. But that's
There should be a Traitors podcast a season.
yeah, definitely. What I was going to say, and with Colin saying this, I put a lot more suspicion on him. The fact that he says he doesn't want the reality stars to get the money in the end, and the person who was first eliminated was Erica, a Survivor winner, which I feel like
Bro, people are
yeah
so dumb. Like, obviously he wouldn't do that if he were a traitor. Like, people like people are so thick. People don't understand how to strategize. It's like they see like the most straightforward, obvious thing. That's just like, oh, this is no way, shape, or form like a
mm,
bait. This is definitely not like a ruse to like divert our attention. It's like, bro. He obviously he wouldn't vote for her after saying that. As a like, he wouldn't eliminate her as a traitor after saying that. Like, no, like you'd have to be like a Robbie to do that. You know, like he's and to be honest, when Robbie was a traitor, she wasn't even that bad. Like
yeah, she was actually pretty decent as a
people are
trader.
just so dumb.
Do we think now? There's something that I just thought of. So we've mentioned before that Colin was trying to pull a Julia, he tried to pull an Anna, but do we think all along he was trying to play the intentional Robbie? Where it just causes so much
Bro.
chaos around him that people just like see him as just
Nah,
too
bro.
obvious for the banishment.
He's not a Julia or an Anna or a Robbie. He's a Colin. He Colin the whole way. He
He
is his
did,
own. He is his own fish.
yeah. But we'll quickly move on to the challenge. It was quite an exciting challenge. It was similar to what we had here in New Zealand, where they get a few people to be sent away, and they have to communicate through clues and walkie-talkies with the groups trying to find them. But there was a twist, Hamish, where the people who are, I guess like kidnapped or taken away were buried alive in a coffin. Would you like, what would you prefer to do? Being the person who was running around finding the clues to find your grave, or the person being buried alive?
Absolutely. Every time to be the person that was buried alive, Jay.
Really?
Yes, dude. Because then you can just lie there in the darkness, be alone, not have to
Yeah.
worry about anything. Every now and then you hear, "Hey, we need a clue," and then I could just go, "Oh, Adam and Eve, something about an apple tree," and then just
Yeah.
and then you just
Sleep.
lie there. You can just think you're in peace. You know, you don't have to worry about flipping socializing and saying things. You can just be away from people, bro. Oh, what a dream.
Yeah. If I was buried alive with a chalky milk, I'd be perfectly fine with it. Like, I'd be like, yep, I don't care how long I'm in there for. That's all good.
If you were
But
buried alive without the walkie-talkie for like 20 minutes, you'd go insane. If you were
true,
buried
true.
alive with a phone, you would be spam calling me.
And everyone, yeah. I'll be sending Chris like, several different voice messages, you different voice messages. Actually, that would be pretty funny. I'd just be on the walkie-talkie the whole time, just talking about everything.
I would turn it off. I'm
it's,
finding these clues myself.
it's like the scene in Brooklyn Nine-Nine where Jake and Holt are, they're undercover, and but this guy who's in this van, he's on a walkie-talkie with them. He just doesn't stop talking, and he just like talks about everything he sees and everything. But they're trying to be undercover with like this crime lord. But in the end, they're like, CJ, shut up! And just give away their position because the guy just won't stop talking. they'll definitely be me.
If you were buried alive and I was on the other end of your walkie-talkie, I'd be like, Michael, you have the walkie-talkie to give us the clues. Like, I'm not going to pretend to want to talk to you right now. I'm kidding.
But it was quite a fun challenge. But we do see though, some people start to panic as well, with the claustrophobia. Have you ever potentially been in a situation like this where you've been in really tight space and had to be there for a long time?
So last time that I was being buried alive, no, I think that I think that like in primary school, there's like yellow tubes in the
Oh yeah,
playground. Like I found that if you were in one but your arms were by your side rather than in front of you, like that would feel pretty like uncomfortable. But in general, nah, like I'm pretty like I like open spaces. I definitely I dislike clutter, but I wouldn't say that like I am a claustrophobic person.
yeah. The only thing I've got really to compare to this is, as Hamish can tell everyone, the elevators in my apartment building aren't the best. And one point, the elevator stopped working, and I was in it. And I mean, it was all right. It was fine. It wasn't that bad, but definitely after I'd say probably 15 minutes, I was starting to get a bit okay, I'm annoyed that that I'm stuck here. So yeah,
I know somebody that
I
was in
think I'll
an
be fine.
elevator that like dropped the floor or something while they were in it.
Oh really?
Like I think they were like at ground level and they went in and they like clicked to go up or something and then it dropped to the basement.
Oh wow. I
Mm.
mean, this happened to me once before as well, but it didn't drop all the way to the basement. I think it just drops 2 floors or something, and then it stopped.
2 floors.
Yeah,
Damn. Well, that's
damn.
more than ground to basement. So you went up
Yeah,
then.
I do. Just saying.
Wow. That was such a cool segment of this podcast.
It was. You're welcome. You're wrong. You're welcome. But let's, all right, but let's move on. The blue team, however, could not find their friend, sadly, and yeah, everyone else had to dig them up for them. How sad! They missed out on 3K.
Yeah.
How would you feel if you missed out on 3K, Hamish?
I would probably go to the workplaces of each of the people in the blue team and I would just start leaving like post-it notes around just saying like I want my 3K. No, dude, I don't know. Like here's the thing, right? It likelihood is if you're a faithful and you get to the end and you vote out all the traders successfully, maybe there are like 3 of you. And let's say you're splitting $100,000. So what, you've got like $33,000 each. Like that's a lot of money still. And the difference with that like 97, so what? You're getting like $32,000 instead. Like at that point, like I don't actually care, to be honest.
Yeah,
So if it happened all the time, then the prize thing at the end was like 50,000 as opposed to 100. Like that's, but the three. I mean, I don't really care. And like we said before, like it's more about the experience than the money.
yeah,
Not that the money isn't great.
yeah. And we do get a great quote actually from Fierce, where they said, we come in and once again there's dirt and rocks everywhere. I'm so sick of all this manual labor.
Mm. Fierce did
Yeah,
say that. You are not
yeah,
lying to our audience.
yeah. No, that was a great quote. I really laughed. But we get back to the manor. And I, especially after last week, I was set up for this whole Melissa B against Kevin, right? Like, is either of them going to survive? Because there's a lot of heat on them. But just magically, there was no heat on them whatsoever because it all became about Colin and Donna. So Fierce was told that Colin told Donna and Dom, we get introduced to a guy named Dom, that so so that Colin told Donna and Dom that everyone was throwing out their names and they need to go to the group and basically save themselves. But then when Colin denies these accusations from Fierce,
Dun,
Fierce
dun,
goes and
dun.
grabs Donna, right? And then they're talking with Donna, they're talking with Dom, and turns out Donna got it wrong.
She like misunderstood, yeah.
She misunderstood what Dom had said. And
Yeah.
it
Flipping
was,
Dorothy from Wizard of Oz looking lady getting it wrong.
it was
Go back to
so funny.
Kansas.
And like I loved Fierce this episode. And Fierce was like, I I just wanted to bring this argument, to a head, but I may have just accidentally just caused so much drama and chaos. And I loved it. I loved how much chaos and drama came from this one incident.
Yeah, you're
And
like the opposite of me, bro. I'm like, I just stay away from that, and you're just like, yes,
yeah,
conflict.
conflict. And there was so much drama about all this, about Donna
You're
and
gonna be
Colin.
so easy to vote out, bro.
Yeah, I will.
I'm
Bro,
looking forward to banishing
I
you.
will. I will blow up my own game straight up. But yeah, so whose side were you on really in this whole argument between Colin and Donna?
So Donna had heat on her because she was a part of the drama, but not necessarily because there was like a whole lot of like heat directed at her. At least not with in this particular episode, right? Like it was more directed at Colin, and so she was just kind of like suspicious, um, as like an extension of him, um, and so there was all this suspicion going his way, and because he, a lot of that, not all, but a lot of that suspicion came from something he said which was completely misconstrued, and because he's a faithful, I did feel pretty bad for him. So I wasn't really taking a side because like they're both all goods and they're both faithfuls, but like I felt pretty bad for him. Like I didn't want him to give. I was hoping that they would at the round table be like, like this seems like some big drama, you know, where was this coming from, and maybe start throwing some votes Fierce's way. And I know Fierce is also a faithful, but like it just seemed so like it just reminded me of the Julia and King's thing where it was like this
Yeah,
big distraction,
yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. It was a ginormous distraction, but it was a distraction that kind of had to be sorted out right then and there, right? And so we get to the round table, and it basically is just Colin versus Donna the whole time. And Kuzi, we haven't talked enough about her, but she has a great quote, which is, "I don't think Colin is a traitor because he's too careless of what he says." And intentional Robbie, right? She's you make too many mistakes. People think you're a genuine, that you're just a bad faithful and not a bad traitor.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. But
But the
anyways,
thing is, I'm not gonna call it the smartest move of the week because he got banished. I'm not jumping on board that train.
all right. So we get to the vote, and it pretty much is a slam dunk on Colin with just Crystal, Melissa B. Oh no! Hang on. It's just Crystal, Colin, and Kuzi, I believe, who voted for Donna. But everyone else voted for Colin, and Colin gets banished. What did you think of Colin overall?
I think that I think he was an outspoken person, but I don't think he was like a bad person or anything. He seemed like an all goods guy. I think that he was just kind of like a very direct person, and like quite a maybe like certain people could see him as intense. I think he was fine, to be honest. He just said a few of the wrong things.
Yeah, yeah. I think so too. He was a fun character while he lasted. As you know, I love people destroying their own games. I find it very entertaining, and so I loved that he went in there. He tried to play like at times he was coming off a bit aggressive, where he was like, "I am a faithful. I swear on my kid's life that I'm a
I
faithful."
don't think that
It was,
he did anything that stupid though. Like, yeah, sure, he like blew up his own game, but like honestly, I like literally, bro. Like a lot of the people being like, yeah, it's definitely Colin because of this reason. I don't think that that was as much Colin playing poorly as much
mm,
as it was the rest being so dumb. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I get that we can see as the audience that he's a faithful, so it's easier for us to be like, oh, obviously he's not a faithful, and like so perhaps that's a bit nitpicky. It's not always obvious for the people playing the game, but like I think that this should be an exception. Like I'm pretty sure that was obvious he wasn't a traitor. Like
mm,
like he was playing kind of how like a slightly more aggressive and less put together way as how Brody was playing. And Brody was so obviously a faithful,
yeah,
he's just passionate and he's in there and it's like that's not how traders play,
yeah,
generally. And like and it was so obvious that particularly by the end of that when there was the misunderstanding as well. And I'm not saying that that means Donna is a traitor and that was intentionally done because obviously it wasn't intentionally done, but it just looks like a big distraction that the traders have probably fit into, or at least kind of profited over.
mm,
Like they've been like, well, fine, let it happen. And
yeah,
that is what happened. So
yeah,
like in moments like that, like that's the perfect time to be like, what are the others doing? Who else is saying or not saying things? Like where did others stand in this? Like for example, like Fierce is somebody I would be looking at. Not that I think Fierce. I mean, if I was playing the game, not that I think Fierce necessarily is the traitor. Not that I would think Fierce is the traitor because that's also pretty bold. Fierce had a big role in kind of
mm,
orchestrating that drama, and that would be pretty bold for a traitor to do. But like Fierce would be somebody on my list, or the people who were kind of involved but not really. People who were kind of like standing around and observing, and maybe having a bit of input or being a part of it but not saying a lot. Like those would be the people I'd be eyeing up. But like people like Colin, like he played dumb in a way, but like honestly, I think you're dumber to vote for him
yeah. I think, I
and to
mean,
vote for Donna as well.
I think, because obviously, the episode is like, edited and stuff. So we only see, very specific things. But I actually wonder, maybe when they found out there was all big misunderstanding, how much time they had left before they went to the banishment, right? Because it's
Probably
then
not a
kind of,
lot.
yeah, because then it's kind of like, okay, where to from here then, right? Because Donna's name's been thrown around so much, Colin's name's been thrown around so much. There's little mumbles of Melissa and Kevin from the previous episode, but you've got two names that have just been out there the whole entire day. Well, I'm not sure how many days per episode. I know with New Zealand it was literally like only 10 days the entire show for all 10 episodes, and um so it's kind of like an episode per day kind of thing.
Mm.
So I'm not sure what the time frame is like for Traitors Canada, but I actually wonder how much time they had before the banishment, because if there's not a lot of time, it's like, well, we can't do anything about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have been at the round table and I would have prompted other people to point out somebody else and not mention somebody myself because that's risky. But I would have been like, guys, like, clearly there was a misunderstanding. Like maybe they are traders, maybe they're not. Who really knows? Obviously the traders do, but like this honestly seems to me like a distraction which the traders are benefiting from. Um, like I've not got somebody in particular, but I really don't think it's them. Like, has anybody else noticed somebody or something
Mm.
that they think is worth mentioning? And I probably would word it slightly differently than that because I think even that can look a little bit sus. Because it almost looks like you're standing up for two traders. Um,
Yeah,
you'd
because it's
you'd have to
also
word it the right way, but like you'd have to I guess you'd go off of it in the context of the conversation so it wouldn't look sus, but
yeah,
like if you're sure in your heart that they're not, I don't know, I'm just mad at the faithfuls. I just think that I want to watch more of this and I want to see which of the faithfuls are actually onto it, um because I think that a lot of them are probably um not.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
some of them might be.
it's a hard thing because you can definitely do the speech like, you know, what you just said, but then it's kind of like, okay, who
do you
do we
suggest?
vote then? Like, you know, who are we going to vote out then? If we're not voting out either of these two, who are we going to
You can
vote
do a
out?
lot
And
of
so
little
it's,
things like that though. Like when you're saying like, does anybody else have somebody like who you look at and like whether you make eye contact with people during certain parts of what you say. For example, if you aren't making eye contact and you resume eye contact when you're making a point, like like that often hits people a lot. So it,
yeah,
you, at this point, you should have analyzed enough to know the people who are likely to be throwing names out there, who are those sorts of people. And so, as
mhm,
you're saying things like, does anybody have like another like name that they want to suggest? Look at the person that you think is probably going to throw out another name. Like there are so many little ways you can prompt people, like kind of with like
yeah,
little psychological things. Like it's like as somebody who is maybe relatively outspoken on the podcast, but like a massive introvert
really?
and as somebody who's a massive introvert in general, it's like you learn how to make people speak. You know how to make
Yeah,
people just talk and be like, I'm just gonna sit and do the listening. Like there are
yeah,
yeah, it's easy enough to just make other people talk at you.
yeah, and that's why I send you like, you know, 20-minute voice messages because you're just so good at making me talk.
You don't have to do that.
I will. I always will because I know how much you appreciate them. So, but we get a segment at the very end where I was a wee bit shocked by this because I had no idea where it was going. But we get Magic Mike say, "Guys, I'm not really a magician." I was thinking,
I was
"What?"
so
Yeah,
confused
I
for a
was so
second. I was like,
confused.
what?
Like,
What is he doing? What is this game here?
it's like doubling down on like a lie. Like some people lie about their profession, but then just be like, "You're not guys." I was lying about my profession. It's all good. Like what comes to mind is Tony from season 20 Kakian. He was a police officer, but he didn't want people to know he's a police officer. So he said that, you know, he's a construction worker. But then, you know, during the tribe swap, he's like, "Okay, guys, I trust you. I'm not a construction worker. I'm a police officer. It's fine. It's fine." But when like even other people on the other tribe sort of figured it out, that he wasn't really a construction worker. He like doubled down on the construction worker lie, and he just kept going with it. And one of my favorite moments actually from that season is when Jeff is talking to Tony, and Jeff is like, "So Tony, how is like, you know, the game of Survivor like, you know, with your work?" It's like, well, in construction there's, you know, a lot of strategy and a lot of trust. It's like, huh, how so? And he's like, "Oh, you know, because one day you might have a tool there, but the next day it's gone." So it's like, who took the tool? And yeah, so anyways, I thought Mike was potentially going to go down a similar route, but he doubles down by being like, "Here's some fun magic, woohoo!" And I
Like
don't know
he
about,
says, I'm not a magician, and then he's like, Nah, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm a magician. Do you want to see some magic tricks?
yeah, and
Like he just
I was
made a
having
joke.
I was I was having, you know, a think about it. It's actually so smart that he's doing all these different magic tricks in front of all these people and get them entertained and, you know, get people to love him because no one will think he's not faithful. No one will think he's a traitor.
You say that,
You know.
and look, it's the fact that he is a magician for a career doesn't necessarily make him a traitor, but the fact that he's able to deceive in that way, like that makes him a good candidate, which
Mm.
isn't a reason to think somebody's a traitor. If anybody's watching this and then goes on to play traitors at any point, just because somebody is a good candidate, it doesn't make them a traitor. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that would not put him on my radar as in I think he's probably a traitor, but like that, I'd be alert to that. I'd be like, okay, this guy is able to deceive people. When he says things to me, I should probably be really reading into it. He may be a faithful, but it's worth reading into. You know what I mean? And so because he's
Yeah.
a traitor, that doesn't matter really. I mean, I guess if his game works, it works. But oh, it actually does work because the faithfuls are stupid. It's fine.
And what I was going to say, because I know something about Survivor, especially as well, is that if you're insanely likable, like Luke, you're pretty much guaranteed to survive the early days of any season because no one wants to vote out the super likable person.
Mm.
It's like with Mad
The
Dog
Traitors
Kent.
would eliminate you though.
True. But I mean, if you are a traitor and you're insanely likable, then that's a really good thing.
True, because he's a traitor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good thing. But let's move along towards the end of the episode. So we've got our elimination suspects in the Traitors Tower. So we've got Trevin, because first of all, they brought up how they want to eliminate someone who bring a lot of shock to everyone. Like eliminate someone who definitely is a faithful. And I love how they immediately brought up Trevin, because last week we were talking about how Trevin right now is probably the faithful for faithfuls, because he almost got medically evacuated during the mission with his asthma. So it's like, why would a traitor do that? Only a faithful would do that. And so, yeah, but unfortunately, we might lose Trevin. We might lose Mickey. He's from the Amazing Race. Or, I'm so sorry, I've no idea how to pronounce his name, but Nazalia? I think that's how you say it. Let me have a look on the website again. Yeah, Azalia. So, what's your thoughts on those three suspects, Hamish?
I think that Nikki was in the blue team, right?
Yes, he's the guy with like the sort of man bun.
Oh no, not Nikki then. Was it Nazalia then? She
I
was in the
think
blue
so.
team,
I
right?
think so.
Yes, yeah. So, bro isn't gonna get suspected as a traitor probably, and was picked by the the traitors in the conclave. They said that the bro seemed like somebody who is going to continue to not be very contributing to making money for the team. So I think that you're basically killing two birds with one stone. One is that you're getting rid of somebody that is not going to make as much money. That's not like that's not really the reason I think you should be eliminating people as a traitor, but because they also seem like somebody who won't get banished, it's a good call, right?
Yeah.
Like unless it's somebody who's actually like a serious threat and you need to eliminate right then and there, and I don't think there is at the moment. Like get rid of do both things. I think that seems like the best elimination. Not that I think that's what's
Yeah.
going to happen. I don't know, to be honest. We were pretty wrong last time, so we'll just see. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Swag.
Swagalicious, but we can't have this be a Mucky Take podcast without the smartest move of the week, Hamish. Do you want to do the singing or the beat?
I'll do the beat.
But you got your guitar. This is a live
I don't know if you
Stan
can hear this
Zero
or not.
performance.
So I'll just
Right.
play some chords and then you can just sing over it. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, sounds good.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's the smartest move of the week, so don't feel too bleak. Here on the Nullified Take, we're ready to bake. It's the smartest move of the week, the smartest move of the week. We are excited to give you the smartest move of the week. That was actually
Oh,
really
you hear
decent.
how we go to the relative E? Oh my goodness, that's so crazy, bro.
So crazy,
All right.
man. So crazy.
Learn words.
All right. I want to hear from you what your smartest move of the week is, because it's kind of
Smartest
obvious what
move
mine
of
was.
the week was. This is just simple for me. Like, so I wouldn't personally, if they're like, I need a volunteer and they haven't said it, I wouldn't be like, take me. Like, I'm just sorry. I like to think things through, but that's why I'm not as smart as the bro who was just like, take me, like because the bro, without even needing to know, she got to be buried alive. And as I said earlier, that would have been the most relaxing, chill, like you could just be like by yourself thing. And like from like a I would like to do that standpoint, like that just sounds like the go. But also
Hmm.
from a strategic standpoint, she didn't have to risk potentially messing up the challenges are not performing right, because as we've just kind of mentioned right beforehand, that could be the reason for the next elimination by the Traitors. Underperformance in the challenge, and so yeah, I think that my smartest move of the week is the Take Me.
Is that from Donna?
No, it was I actually can't think of her name now. Go back and watch the episode.
All right.
Can we
I've got
see the
a
cast?
yeah. Hang on. I'll quickly send you the cast. But there isn't like a photo of everyone though.
Traitors Canada cast.
I just sent you the
No,
link.
that's not how you. That's how you spell cats.
I just sent you the link on Facebook, bro.
Oh wow, amazing! That's so cool. That's really cool. While I'm searching this, you should tell me what your thing is.
Okay, my smartest move of the week, right? Now I want you to hear me out on this, right? I want you to hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
So Donna's drama and confusion, right? Well, I've got two smartest moves of the week. One's actually a bit more genuine. The other one is just, a intentional robbie. But I feel like with Donna, she obviously accidentally put the target on Colin, right? Because while there was already a small target brewing, I feel like her telling everyone, oh yeah, like he told me that, my name's been thrown out there and I would see myself, and same with Dom. Like, she was spreading all that around, just to find out that Dom was never actually, like, Dom never said that. Like, there was just a misunderstanding. And I feel like in that moment, all eyes could have just been like, whoosh, on Donna, right? Because it's like, wow, you literally, like, made up a lie and all that sort of stuff, and maybe taking her out instead of Colin. But no, she was able to, escape by that. And I think that sort of proves that she's a faithful in a weird way. And I think another smart move of the
But
week.
Colin got voted out as a faithful.
Oh, I'm talking
So
from
now
from
she's a
Donna.
target.
Well, I don't think she's a target, because similar to Vanda, right? When Mike Perdue got banished, right? Where the New Zealand Colin was going hard after Vanda about her being trained and stuff like that, and she stuck up for Mike, and everyone's kind of like, oh, I think you're more of a faithful now because you stuck up. Wait, no, sorry, I just realized I completely two different scenarios.
Yeah.
Not the same thing. Yeah.
It was
No, but
Melissa A, by the way. She was the one who was
I'm
like,
gonna
take
say,
me.
okay.
So I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's a thing. Those are
I have one more though, like a good one,
okay.
and it's by Fierce. I think Fierce really driving this narrative, ensure that, because Fierce sort of mentioned that they were in this sort of weird like alliance with Erica and Kevin, right? I think that it could be some kind of reality stars alliance thing going on, where it's kind of like we've kind of got each other's backs for now, right? Until proven otherwise. So I think with this whole drama and chaos that Fierce brought, it heavily diverted the attention away from Kevin, which I think we can both agree after the first episode, if they had to banish right then and there, Kevin would have most likely been banished. I mean, it would have been close between Kevin and Melissa, but I think Kevin definitely would have been sent out from just how hard he was playing. So I think Fierce causing all this drama and chaos, especially around Donna, Colin, and Dom, specifically those three names, just over and over again, even after it was kind of shown that it was just a misunderstanding, they still drove that narrative. And so yeah, those are my two choices.
All right, my second choice then, just to throw like a spanner into the works, because this is gonna take the cake, bro.
Take the cake. All right, I'm excited. Well, I'm actually Michael, but
The people who made the breakfast buffet, they put croissants onto the table, and people looked at them and they're like, French cuisine. And they thought back to the fact the host is a French Canadian. And then they thought, as they were eating breakfast, about the atmosphere and the environment she creates. And she creates this, you can see that she's trying so hard to make the players paranoid with everything she says and how she says it, right? And so
I've got no idea where you're going with this, man.
Shut up! I'm trying to keep my composure. You're not helping.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Shut up! Shut up! By putting croissants on the table, it was a subconscious thing that by putting croissants on the table, they made the players paranoid so that this drama would happen today. And so the people which created the breakfast buffet, they saved Kevin.
Gosh, I'm not sure what you put in your croissants this morning. It's definitely not a legal substance.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's
Kevin wasn't voted off because
of croissants. Oh my gosh. No. I'm not sure.
I'm not changing my vote.
No, I think no, we can't have that. We can't. That's just like your one submission you had for that one Traitors New Zealand, where it's like we should thank like what Julie's parents or Julie's grandparents or something for giving her that middle name, so that they can solve the riddle like pretty
making
quickly.
a middle name, whatever they made it.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I don't. I'm sorry, bro. I don't think we can. No.
Okay,
No.
what were your two again?
Mine was the Donna one and the fierce drama. I'm pretty sold on
on Donna.
The fierce on fierce. I'm actually kind of sold on fierce.
Did Fierce eat any of the croissants?
I mean, probably. It's a croissant.
It's the first one then.
The fierce one. All right.
But when we come back to the end of the season and we say the smartest move of each week, so as to pick the smartest move of the game, we need to include, while we're explaining the first one, that Fierce ate the croissants of paranoia.
You know, I'm happy to change that. Fierce ate the croissants, which gave them so much power and so much motivation to cause drama
because
Donald
they were
Trump.
paranoid.
It's the croissants.
It's the croissants of paranoia, Michael.
Because for another hour just arguing over the name of the croissants. But that is the smartest move of the week. The croissants of paranoia, the fierce eight,
yes!
to cause drama. We're changing the name for next week. I'm sorry, but thank you so much to everyone who's been watching this crazy live. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. We heavily enjoy your support and your love for the Traitors series. I love podcasting with Hamish, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. You know, we've got a massive goal in mind for 3K, and we'll do something very special quite soon for the 2K, and then something potentially even more special for 3K. Who knows? But you can find me, because I just have to keep giving this a plug, because I'm still new to it. My Twitter, which is @Mucky5524136. So if you want to see my lively Traitors thoughts, Star Wars thoughts, Survivor thoughts, hit me up there, and I'll be tweeting out all those thoughts there. Hamish. Okay, I was going to say plug your social media, but nah, I think we're. but yeah,
my Instagram that's my Instagram.
That's his Instagram. Hamish up and hit his band up, Stags Yarrow.
Listen to Stags Yarrow.
Yeah.
You can hear more of the Lydian mode.
Yes.
Flip, I messed it up. That was
and on that
Lydian.
note, we're gonna end the podcast.
That was the augmented Lydian mode.
All right. Everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you next week for Traitors Episode 3 recap. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Okay,